Gavin Newsom. So Gavin Newsom, all right, Gavin Newsom. We only gonna spend 10 minutes on this because we're approaching a 3 hour mark. Gavin Newsom is announcing a $12 billion deficit in his revised, he redid his revised budget plan, and he's still got another deficit that he hasn't solved for. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning on notifications. Let's go over what Gavin Newsom is happening over in California. Just a quick hit.
Governor Newsom walking back the promise of free health care for undocumented immigrants today.
This unexpected move comes as the state faces a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit. Our Conan Nolan joins us now with more on California's revised budget proposal. Conan.
That's right. Projections for the California economy, now the world's fourth largest, were excellent back in January, but things have changed. And now the governor is needing to borrow from the state's rainy day fund and to partially eliminate, for now, what at the time was a controversial move to include undocumented immigrants in California's public health care coverage.
Best to describe this as the Trump slump.
Governor Gavin Newsom's rhythmic explanation for his 300.
Hey, how come California's inability to manage their budget? Because you got to remember, y'all, that their fiscal budget and what they've been dealing with over the past few years, this was happening way before Trump ever got into office. All right. Every time that they have a problem, blame Trump.
Than $22 billion state budget, which reflects an anticipated $12 billion budget shortfall. That the result of an expected $16 billion reduction in tax revenue over the next year. The State Department of Finance says it's due to a drop in business investment and corresponding taxes on capital gains, and the major decline in trade out of the LA and Long Beach harbors, the result of tariffs by the Trump administration on China, Canada, and Mexico. The state's
you're telling me that because y'all got to remember, California had a budget deficit last year. They're going to have a budget deficit this year. They're going to have a budget. They had a budget deficit the year before. And remember when we was talking about how they was tapping into the $40 to $60 billion in their rainy day fund? California had a surplus, I believe, 1 or 2 years. And that was because of the COVID funds that was being dispersed as a result of the federal government. Now, all of a sudden, blame Trump. It's the Trump slump. It's the Trump slump. Nope, it's not people leaving California. It's not the mismanagement of the fires. It's not a lack of revenue because different companies are moving out of California and they no longer want to do business with y'all because they overtax. It's nothing. It's not property tax revenue. It's none of that. The only thing that it matters is it's Trump's fault. It's got to be Trump's fault, y'all. Whenever you in trouble, blame Trump. Whenever you're in trouble, blame Trump. That's the new play.
3 major trading partners.
1 out of every 5 businesses in Southern California are directly or indirectly connected to that trade.
To balance the budget, the governor is proposing a pause in enrollment of undocumented immigrant adults into the state's Medi-Cal program, which provides care for low-income Californians.
They should have never been in the program in the first place. This should have never even been introduced. Nobody should ever have given health care coverage to undocumented immigrants. Let me ask y'all a question because I'm unfamiliar with something real quick, all right? Just a quick question. If I go over to another country, let's say Mexico or Canada or Haiti or China or the Koreas or anywhere in the world, do I automatically, as an American citizen, not a citizen of those countries, do I automatically get state-sponsored, country-sponsored healthcare coverage in those countries? Is there a program for Americans in other countries? And I'm not saying that we should or we shouldn't. I'm asking a question because I don't know. Do I automatically get healthcare coverage in those countries? then why is California trying so hard to spend y'all tax dollars on people that's not even supposed to be here?
Children and teenagers will still be covered. Those in the country without authorization
Coke in
who
the
are
small.
already in the system will be charged $100 a month starting in 2027.
Our approach was not to kick people off and not to roll back the expansion, but to level set on what we can do and what we can't do.
There's a planned cut of 8% to the UC and Cal State University systems, a cap on overtime for in-home supportive service workers. The governor says he will still seek a doubling of the state's film tax credit to $750 million.
It's on life support. LA County and LA City are struggling in their economic recovery. One of its principal economic drivers that benefits a large group of people is film and filmmaking, and we have to be more competitive.
But it was the issue of homelessness where Mr. Newsom appeared most frustrated, saying billions have already been spent on remedies that too many cities and counties are ignoring.
Time to do your job. People are dying on their watch, dying on their watch. How do people get reelected?
That's what I'm wondering about Gavin Newsom. If I'm not mistaken, hold on.
Now to the governor's billion-dollar solution to solve the spiraling homeless crisis. The plan includes using vacant state land to house those living on the streets, but that's not all.
Tonight, we're digging deeper on where the money is coming from and where it's going as the pressure grows statewide to do something, and soon.
There's a lot of homeless people out here.
Preston Collins is one of the thousands of people living on Sacramento streets.
You got to have a strong will to be out here.
Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom is proposing a $1 billion plan to help get people just like Preston into safe shelters.
We are thrilled to see the governor make such a significant investment.
The effort is being praised by those who help get homeless people and those with mental health issues off the streets.
The governor's executive order speaks to the fact that we are in a homelessness crisis, and he is appropriately
This was 5 years
trying
ago,
to
y'all.
deploy
Just
all
let
the
y'all know.
state's resources to help deal with that crisis.
So where is the money going? One part of the plan calls for using trailers and modular tents normally used by the state's disaster medical teams. Those could be placed in fairgrounds or on excess state property. Funding could also go toward paying the rent of people who are homeless and toward building new housing.
They got a lot of places in Sacramento they could build places for homeless people. They could build a whole complex.
Preston has already set up camp in front of a vacant property owned by Caltrans, but he's skeptical of the money ever reaching people like himself who need it the most.
Oh, they said that money last time. Remember, we never see none of it. I ain't see a dime of it.
Those working to solve homelessness hope these temporary measures lead to some long-term solution.
So where did all of the money for homelessness? Because I heard that California spent over $29 billion and didn't even come close to solving for any issue with regard. You know, Gavin Newsom ran on solving for the homelessness epidemic.
We have much left to do, but I believe in the remarkable talent assembled here, and I believe in our state, and I know this at the bottom of my heart.
This is
the best
2019, y'all.
is yet to come. Thank you all very, very much.
That is Governor Gavin Newsom laying out his plans for California in his first State of the State address.
The governor announcing plans to tackle a number of issues. The big headline, he plans to scale back the high-speed rail project, no longer connecting it from LA to San Francisco. Newsom also wants to downsize the Delta Tunnels project, and the governor criticized President Trump.
2019.
What else is new, right? But his State of the Union speech accusing him of fear-mongering about a so-called manufactured border crisis.
Now, Governor.
Ain't this crazy that we can sit back and we can go back and look at, listen to what they just said. In 2019, Gavin Newsom accused Trump of fear-mongering a manufactured border crisis. Trump warned us in 2019 that this was, oh my God. Yo, going back and looking at this is crazy. Trump warned us in 2019, 2018 that we had an impending manufactured border crisis that was about to take place, and boy, was he right. Boy, was he right. And Gavin Newsom accused him of fear mongering. Do you know what Democrats and politicians, you know what they bank on and that they write on? They bank and they write about the fact that people have short memories and that we don't even remember what they said. They know that they can say anything to us. Next year, it'll be like it never even happened. It'll be like it never even happened. Listen to this.
Speech accusing him of, the governor criticized President Trump. What else is new, right? But his State of the Union speech accusing him of fear mongering about a so-called manufactured border crisis.
Now, Governor Newsom also zeroed in on the housing crisis that's left thousands of people on the streets.
A homelessness epidemic that'll now get its own commission led by a familiar face, Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg.
CBS 13's Lamore Abrams is at the state capitol for us tonight with that part of the story.
Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg will be back at the Capitol a lot more often. The former legislator appointed to a role that will require a lot of work here at the governor's office.
There's another urgent moral issue we must confront. That's this homelessness epidemic.
Governor Gavin Newsom says he plans to help California cities combat the crisis with a new commission on homelessness and supportive housing. It'll be led by Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg, who recently declared his own homeless emergency here in the state's capital. The governor now committing more money to mental health, shelters, and permanent housing.
Because at the end of the day, shelter solves sleep. Housing and supportive services solve homelessness.
The mayor plans to zero in on prevention.
There is a point in time where people go from fragile and housed to fragile and unhoused.
And so now you see all of the progress. Y'all can see all of the progress of how they solved for homelessness. How it was just, no. Listen, y'all, this is fear mongering. This is all fear mongering. There is no impending immigration crisis. They're not about to open up the borders. This is not a big deal. Listen, you don't have to worry about illegal migrants coming over here and killing people. I wonder if Laken Riley's mother would ever look back on this and say, man, that was just fear mongering. Fear mongering. You can walk down California streets on any street. Most of them, they got dookie on it. Not doo-doo, not poop, dookie. Nice and wet. And then when the sun hits it, it hardens a little bit. It stinks. It smells a little different. Got that California beef out there. It smell like In-N-Out burger. It smell like a decomposed In-N-Out burger. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.